Hey everybody, welcome to my PNW kitchen. This is definitely my happy place, and today we're going to make some bread. We're going to make a cinnamon raisin bread. I've been eating this bread my whole life and surprisingly have never made it, so today's going to be the day. This is going to be a partially sourdough raised slash a traditional instant dry yeast raised bread. So this is going to be really exciting to see how it turns out. I also have some really delicious cinnamon and organic raisins, so I think it's going to be great and just as good as the stuff that I used to eat as a little kid. So in this recipe, or in all recipes, there's usually a wet and a dry. So we're going to mix the dry ingredients first, then we're going to mix the wet ingredients, and then we're going to mix it all together. So I'll show you that process. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to mix together our dry ingredients. We have our 3 cups of all-purpose flour here, and I have to give a shout out to Karen Springs Mills in Burlington, Washington, because they are amazing, and they grind this wheat in a traditional stone ground mill, and I just picked it up a few days ago and I'm really enjoying using it. So we're gonna take the 3 cups of all-purpose flour. We're gonna take our 1 1/4 teaspoons of salt. We're gonna take 1 tablespoon of sugar, 2 1/2 teaspoons of the instant dry yeast, and we're gonna mix all that up together. Then in our mixer, we're gonna take about 3/4 of a cup of starter, which the starter is the mother that has already caught the yeast, the active wild yeast in the air. So starter is basically just flour and water that's been mixed together that they let sit out, and then you have to feed it though. The mother has to stay happy basically. So you feed the mother on a daily basis or a weekly basis, and it catches the wild yeast in the air, and you'll see all these beautiful bubbles let's see here, I can show you one of mine. See all those beautiful bubbles in there? So that's what a good healthy mother looks like, and I feed it pretty much every day. So we've got our mother, we're gonna start mixing that guy up. We're also gonna mix in our egg and 5 tablespoons of butter, that guy in there. There we go. And basically this first step is just mixing the dough and creating the dough and getting all that good stuff together to create that good healthy rise on your bread, basically, because this is a sourdough cinnamon raisin bread. It takes a little bit longer. All right, let's see how this is mixing up. Just gonna help the mixer out a little bit here and mix our wet ingredients together. Whenever you're baking, you should always have your wet ingredients all mixed up and your dry ingredients all mixed up, unless it's specifically instructed to do otherwise, like when you're making pie dough or something like that, where you're going to cut in your butter. All right, there we go. Now we've got a little bit more of a mix on there. I'm going to move this closer so we can see how this is starting to form. I'm just going to start adding in my flour. Crank this up a little more. So you could mix this with your hands, a stand mixer, a bread machine, pretty much anything. You're just mixing all this stuff together. It does actually call for 2/3 of a cup of water. So I'm also going to go ahead and add that in. All right, we'll let this mix until we get a nice dough formed. Okay, I think this dough has absorbed all that it can, and you can see that it's in a nice, formed a nice ball. It's kind of climbing up that dough hook, and it's ready to rise. So let's drop this down, release this out of the way. Don't forget to spray. Scoop this guy out. If you can form it into a little ball like that. Another quick spray. Oop, oh, I'm running out. A little bit on my hand there. You can also kind of do one of these so it kind of gets some of it from the bowl. And then we're gonna let this rise until it doubles in size. It kind of varies on how warm your kitchen is, maybe 30, 45 minutes, sometimes a little bit longer. That's totally fine. Okay, so we are gonna roll out our cinnamon bread. It looks awesome. It's risen really, really well. And I'm gonna take a little bit of flour and dust my countertop off. And we're just gonna stretch it out a little bit like this. Look at that. Okay, we're gonna leave this top strip empty, and we're gonna take this egg water mixture and just brush the inside of it like this. Maybe we'll just use the bowl. I'm gonna do that. Then I'm gonna take my raisins and just kind of make sure none of them stick together. Like those ones. And make sure they're evenly distributed across the bread. Now we're just gonna take this and roll it up. Very similar to a cinnamon roll. And we're just gonna pinch this together. Gonna roll this little bad boy over and right in there like that. Now, come on, buddy, get in there. We're gonna let this rise until it's nice and big, and we're gonna bake it off. It's gonna be beautiful. I'm just gonna take my plastic wrap from when I had it wrapped earlier and create this little seal and get it proofing again. Okay, this cinnamon raisin bread is going in the oven. Yum. Get in there. So here is that beautiful bread. Why don't we cut into it? What do you think of that? Not bad for my first time. This is so good.
I managed to activate my escape transporter.
It's so good.
I'm so